Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Care Sandwich. I may or may not have just had a sandwich for lunch, but I am so excited to introduce you to our guest. Kade Kimber is going to come on the virtual stage in just a second after this video plays.
Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Everline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care.
Hello. Welcome to today's show. Kade, join me on the virtual stage. How's it going?
It's great. How are you, Margarita?
I'm great. So you have chosen a very interesting career path. You are not an attorney like most of our guests, and we love that because variety is wonderful. So tell our audience, what do you do in the legal space?
Absolutely. So I actually was going to be in the legal space, took the LSAT, got accepted to law school, all that, and then took a very different course and path. So I help law firms to help their brands become less interchangeable. We focus on client experience, consistency of client experience, standing out in a highly saturated market, and team gifting and team event gifting as well.
I love it. I think we don't talk about gift giving as a strategy enough because it seems a little weird, right? Like gift giving is like when it's someone's birthday and you buy them something special at the store. And that's how we associate gift giving in our brains. And so when we translate that concept into corporate, it seems overwhelming, right? Like, how do I give gifts to my customers, to my potential new customers? So walk us through, how did you get into that like mindset of, this actually makes sense in a business setting and it makes sense like this? Walk us through that.
Great question. So it's actually through my corporate marketing career. So I spent almost 20 years in corporate marketing. Around 6 or 7 years in, I was really surprised with how business gifting was being done and how ineffective it was. And I know you'll appreciate this given your focus on strategy and measurable outcomes, but that was lacking with business gifting, right? Just the same exact gifts were being sent out or branded merch. In the legal space, it's usually tins of nuts, chocolate, or cookies, right? And that's pretty much what goes out. But that's not how it has to be. And so how I got into it was looking at business gifting as a marketing tool, which once you apply strategy becomes a measurable outcome. So often companies are measuring gifting in their business space by how many thank you notes or emails they get, which is a terrible.
That counts a little bit.
not on your P&L, right?
Yeah.
And so even if you're gifting for appreciation, which is a great reason to gift, at the end of the day, in the business space, you're gifting appreciation for a business purpose like retention, right? And so you're looking to increase your retention rate or whatever it is within that goal becomes very measurable because it's a defined goal. So as opposed to what do we send, it's what do we want to accomplish? So when I started looking at it that way, the key stakeholders for the company I worked for at the time, they weren't really interested in changing things. So I set out, started my own business, and 3 months later, I was gifting for the US Women's Open. And it has continued on for 12 years and evolved. And now today, it's an entire methodology called gift intelligence.
So walk us through that because I love that this is data driven and you're looking at that part of it. But also walk us through how do you even pick out your gifts? Because I think that's fun to talk about as well.
Absolutely. Well, and it starts at a very different point than what people expect too when it comes to gift intelligence. so often, like I said, people are asking, what am I going to send? It's
Mhm.
really needs to be, who are you trying to reach and what are you trying to accomplish? And in the process of going through the gift intelligence methodology, which is very basic, straightforward process with questions that companies and firms don't normally think about, in the end, it actually really helps you land on what to gift through all that. So you're looking at
Oh,
who
okay.
impacts your business the most for a specific reason. It's not your highest generating client. It's not your highest billable hour client, typically speaking. So it's really who's going to help you achieve the outcome most based upon historical data and what you have seen with your client patterns. What do you want to accomplish and how are you going to measure it? And then it comes down to what or how to be authentic at scale. And that's really honestly the biggest challenge that I set out to try to solve. How do you achieve meaning at scale, right? Because so often it's like, okay, I either have to send that fruit basket or something so personalized. I know their favorite color, the kids' names, all that. And it isn't either one. There is a perfect
Yeah.
model,
Authentic at scale. I love that. I think this is the first time that I've heard that package together, pun intended.
which is
And
perfect as
in
I coined it.
and in the marketing space, or I'm going to say traditional marketing, because this is also marketing, we think about personalized emails, right? Where it's like you segment your list and then you add the name, dear Ted, right? So is that how it works in the gifting space? What does that look like?
Sure. So, and that's not to say those aren't incorrect or aren't bad ways to do things, right? Or that they are, I should say. They are not bad ways to do things. There we go. But in gifting, it's actually a completely different approach. So if you have, let's say you're trying to reach 50 clients, right? You don't need to necessarily say, dear Bob, dear John, whatever. You can on the note card, but the gift itself doesn't need to have Bob or John's last name, and it certainly should not
Mm,
have your firm logo on it. Instead, we look at, why is it that someone does business with your firm? What is it
mm,
about your agency that they are interested in to be your clients? Because we
mhm.
know, I think it was 2 years ago that Deloitte did the study showing that, I'm going to get the numbers off slightly, but I'll be really close. It's something like 60% of people will shift to a different vendor if they feel that that vendor better provides or better aligns with their societal values, and
Hmm.
57% will pay more to do so. So when you're talking about a majority willing to change to a different firm, and they'll pay more if they feel like that firm does a better alignment with their values, it highlights to me just how important that connection is. So you build a gift around that. You put the brand story in a box. I like to say, think inside the box, right?
Mm.
And so it's about bringing your brand story into something tangible. If you are in the, let's say, the environmental law space, well, perhaps the gift is sustainable products, right, or sustainability focused products. If you are a let's say a civil rights firm, then perhaps your gifts are tied to the clients that you represent or providers within that space. There's a lot of different angles that you can take to make that meaningful emotional connection that feels personal without being personalized.
I like that. So, one way that I've applied this concept with marketing bosses, we give our clients t-shirts that are very high quality because they're law firm owners. I'm not going to give them a $3 t-shirt,
Right.
right? That I bought 500 for $3. And then instead of putting our logo on it, it says self-made, self-paid. And the intention behind that is to honor the fact that we get the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into building a law firm.
Yep.
And we want to celebrate that. And we want them to like wear it as a badge of honor. And that was the thought process where we're like, yeah, let's give them, and the t-shirts, like everything was thought out, like, and the t-shirts are great. So it's very personalized because it shows our clients that like we get them, and it
Mhm.
also shows them how we feel about them too. Like we're their biggest admirer. We're like, wow, like that one lawyer, like started like in his apartment with one case, like
Right.
we totally get that part. So
Mhm.
So I love that. And I think if somebody is listening, they're thinking, oh my gosh, like I never thought about gift giving this way. I really want to get with somebody that can help me figure this out. Like obviously here at Marketing Boss, we help with ideas, but
Mhm.
how can they get a hold of you to really
Sure.
understand, okay, what can this look like in my business? Like, and how am I going to measure it? How am I going to plan it out, budget for it, track it? What are some ways that folks can get in touch with you?
Sure. So great question. So KadeKimber.com is my website for Kade Kimber Advisory. And it's through there that we offer services for client experience strategy, gifting specific strategy if you don't need your overall experience looked at, as well as I do keynote speaking and so forth related to gift intelligence. So KadeKimber.com is the best one for that. Kimberandoak.com is the website for my gifting company where we handle all of the execution. And it's linked to from KadeKimber.com, so you don't necessarily need to remember both. But yeah,
That's
that's the best way.
clever. The from.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, that's the absolute best way to get in touch and start a conversation.
I love it. So while people are writing all this down and sending you the email, what is a case study that you can share with us where your help them transform their business through gift giving?
Sure, absolutely. Well, the most recent one that stands out is not necessarily in the legal space, but it is in a highly regulated industry, being financial services. So a common belief is that, especially when gifting to high net worth or ultra high net worth individuals, you have to spend a lot to stand out. And that's simply not true. So a recent case study, we helped an advisor with a long-term prospect uh, turn that into an actual client within 24 hours, despite years of trying. It was within 24 hours of getting the gift. And it meant so much to them in how we approached it that they came on as a client paying six figures per year in fees. They became an eight-figure investor, literally within 24 hours. And so to me, it goes to show the power of gifting, first of all, the emotional impact that can be had, and also highlight the importance of standing out at the right moments when decisions are being made, which is not in December, right? That's when most gift is in December. That isn't when to try to stand out, because you won't. But also to look at it as focusing on mattering instead of just focusing on staying top of mind. Most try to stay top of mind, but everybody does. So instead, focus on trying to matter. And that recipe for success worked out amazingly with this particular client. And it's not an isolated incident by any stretch.
I love that. And I can think of a bunch of examples where it was maybe not scalable, where gift giving has helped. I would love to hear from you just some examples of what's scalable. So like what I'm thinking of is back when I used to work at Nielsen, we used to share tips because I was doing sales, and it was like multi-million-dollar contracts and, you know, big stuff.
Yep.
And I remember one of my colleagues got a signature from a client for a very big deal, like multiple TV station type thing, by sending them a cardboard cutout of Marilyn Monroe with like a pen in her hand, like just really cool stuff like that, right? But that's not scalable, right? Another AE sent somebody a box with shoes that were just their size and like, hey, ready to hit the ground running. So like, how do you do this at scale? Like, what are some examples?
Sure. And so it really is going back to, why are people doing business with you?
Mm-hmm.
And those moments, like the Marilyn Monroe example, that's great. Those have their place. But to your point, that isn't scalable. And so when we look at it, I think of a client right now where we are mapping out a 3,000 gift approach to them that needs to feel very, very personal. It's about creating an experience. So one of the best ways you can do so is to create an experience for the recipient in their space. So in their home, with their family, with their loved ones, their favorite people. If you're a family law firm, for example, this would be the exact path that we would guide you down. And so it can be something like a game night. It could be s'mores. But the trick to it is, those have been done a million times, those themes. It's coming up with a different approach to it. And we have a formula and products that support it. But you're creating that moment in the space, and that becomes the personal side of it. You've created a positive emotion. And because people always remember who gives them a great gift, it doesn't have to have your brand slapped all over the items. It's really about that recipient, like with your t-shirt example. It is about being an advocate for that person. You're becoming an advocate for this family, for this brand, for this client, for your team members, whatever it might be. And that's how you become scalable with it, is to look at that shared commonality of why people are doing business with you, and what does that look like as an experience in their space. Not in a space that takes them out of their home, not like an escape room gift card or a restaurant gift card. That takes them out of their space. And I don't know about you, but at around 30-ish, I stopped wanting to leave the house, and I come up with any excuse possible to get out of having to go out. And so it's, yeah, it's about creating the space or the opportunities in that space. And that's how you achieve it. That's
awesome. I love that. My wheels are spinning. I love gift giving. It's like a thing for me, like a very personal thing. And I've had so many wonderful experiences with gift giving. And I really appreciate what I've learned from you about how to really think more scalable.
Well, and if not to interrupt, if I may add, I would say bringing in technology is a really important component. If you want to create a personalized experience, people think technology feels impersonal, and it doesn't if you do it correctly, right? If you're doing it as a kind of a cheesy measure, or in a way that feels cheesy or performative, then yeah, it's gonna drop. But one of the things that we do, for example, is we have our own gifting platform called Giftium, and it creates integrated campaigns. And so a gift will go out with a note card that can be specific to that individual with a QR code. They scan it. It takes them to a landing page for sales prospecting, for example. It takes them to a landing page where we can personalize the content. We have one client that does personal videos for every single that we embed for every single recipient. And it includes like a Calendly embed if the goal is to book a consultation or what have you.
So
go ahead, sorry.
So just so I understand, so your technology includes that, like the landing page, the QR, like the whole thing? Because I'm familiar with multiple platforms that you would need to make that work.
Absolutely. And so I am too, but none of them work together, right?
Yeah, they don't.
They're like, oh my gosh, and you're paying 1 million subscription fees and so on and so forth. I got annoyed by it. And so I built my own. And so, yeah, Giftium is a completely proprietary platform designed for business gifting. And it builds in that integrated campaign component, whether it's QR codes, short links, whatever it is. And the landing pages, and I love the landing page part, honestly. It's one of my favorite parts of what we do. And then there's the digital note card aspect too, because sometimes it's not necessarily a single landing page, it's a note card with a whole experience. And so we have a multi-screen note card that you can set up, and it's just this whole really cool thing. And it's all supported. Most importantly,
fun.
How fun. It's included too as part of our services. So for Kimber and Oak, we have a $3,000 minimum for any custom gift order. Or you can pre-fund $3,000 of our ready-to-ship gifts, because that's also in Giftium, where you can just pop on and be like, hey, birthday, anniversary, retirement, whatever it might be. We have gifts for all that. New baby. So and it ships with your brand on the packaging as a one-off. That's all in there. But if you pre-fund that and keep that maintained at the $3,000 a year spend, you have complimentary access to the platform. All the records, you can export CSV. It connects to Salesforce directly. There's a lot of great components to it.
So question, does it also handle mailers, like postcards, actual letters?
It does not, but actually, that's a great question. It doesn't, but it wouldn't be all that difficult to have it do that either. Because the way it's set up, it is set up to be dynamic. It can be fixed. It can be that everyone gets the same message. It's not personalized. That works great too. But really the power of it comes in all of its capabilities for that personalization. So dynamic capabilities are already in there. It's just a different medium, letters or mailers versus gifts.
I'm super excited to learn about all of this. And I really think that we need to put your info up on the screen one more time, just in case people are like, wait a minute, this can replace 5 platforms that I've got going.
Yes.
I got one more question for you, and I know I've gone over time, so thank you for your patience. This has been fun. What is your favorite sandwich? This is a no judgment zone.
Okay, well, and this is good. It's no judgment because it's going to sound like a crazy one. But you know how during COVID, people learned to bake bread? It was a big thing. I decided to perfect the humble sloppy Joe. And so my favorite sandwich is actually what I call the sloppy Joe, kind of a pun, because it's not just a sloppy Joe, but it has coleslaw on it. And it's very specific, but the sloppy Joe itself, it is the sauce for it, instead of like a manwich or ketchup based one, is actually like the meatballs at Christmas time, the appetizers. It's like the grape jelly and the chili sauce or the barbecue sauce or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I use for the sauce. So it's that plus meatloaf mix. You'll thank me later if you swap out using meatloaf mix for hamburger on almost everything. It's that, onions, all that. Toast the, I use ciabatta bread. I have celiac, so there's very few great gluten-free options, but they do make a good ciabatta roll. Toast that, melt cheese on it, sloppy Joe mix, and then angel hair shredded coleslaw with the Marzetti's coleslaw sauce on it. And you have got yourself the most incredible sloppy Joe.
That sounds amazing. So I think, this is just my opinion, okay? Whoever writes to you for information, you need to also send them the recipe. That sounds amazing. You know, how much of what? Step 1, step 2. I need the recipe too.
So good. I actually
I like word puns. So, this is great. Okay, cool. So there you have it, folks. You know how to get a hold of Kade and his team to get some help with your gift giving. I really enjoyed this conversation. And as a reminder, y'all are going to be able to get this episode on Spotify and all the platforms later on. And if you're watching us live, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Margarita.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing,